Hello everyone, my name's John and this is a video about autism and kink. So if that's not what you're looking for, I suggest you go to my personal Facebook page, which is full of photographs of my cats. So back in 2003, I accidentally won a competition in America called International Mr. Leather. I've got a picture to prove it. This is me back then, obviously pre-lockdown weight. And winning that meant I had to take a year off work and travel the world being an international sex ambassador. And it threw me headlong into a world of kink and kinky people and kinky conventions, and I absolutely loved it. I yummed it up. But it's only 20 years later, almost 20 years later, that I'm beginning to piece together exactly why kink was so attractive to my autistic mind. So I'm not answering this for any other autistic people. This is purely personal, but these are some of the reasons why it was particularly appealing to me. So first of all, let's talk about distractions. In vanilla gay pubs and clubs, there is always definitely loud music coming from the dance floor. You have to shout to get a drink. I promise you, during the evening, somebody's going to turn on the mirror ball. At some point, a drag queen will come out and start heckling the crowd. There's a lot going on and I can't tune it out. Compare that to your average kink club. Now, you might not have been to one, but let me tell you, yes, there's lighting, but it tends to be static and there's always a white spotlight on each piece of equipment so you can see what you're doing. And there's music, but it's in the background so as not to get in the way. And there is always a set of sofas for you after you've had some kind of, I don't know, bake-off role play. You've been Paul Hollywood, I've been a lump of dough. Afterwards we can sit on a sofa and recover from the experience. It's perfect. And if you need things really quiet, I can recommend anywhere where they practice tying people up with rope. Sometimes they call it shibari. Don't worry, it's just a word like origami, but for people and rope. And the silence there when people concentrate on what they're doing is absolutely delicious. Point 2. Trying to chat people up completely mystifies me. I don't know how to do that in a regular pub or club. I mean, tell me to have an unstructured, natural conversation completely relaxed. It's not going to happen. I like conversations to have a point. Compare that to trying to hook up with somebody inside a kink club. There's negotiation where you discuss your needs, wants, desires and limits. You might go through prior medical history, but the conversation has a point. If you're lucky, there's a questionnaire. If you're too shy to speak verbally, you can always submit things respectfully as a journal entry. I love it. It's almost as if that initial dance between two people was written in a kink club with autistic people in mind. Point number 3. People are always wondering how I miss so many social cues in everyday life. But in a kink club, there are visual clues that will help. If somebody walks in carrying a bag of rope, they're probably interested in tying you up. If they walk in with a riding crop or a paddle, they probably want to hit somebody with it. Like, it's really obvious. If somebody's wearing a chain around their neck, they're probably in a relationship. Right down to handkerchiefs in back pockets telling you what kind of activity they're into and whether they like to give or receive. Thank you to whoever made it that obvious. Point 4. I'm not a fan of mess. Now, I know there's some kinky stuff you can do that does include, I don't know, chocolate spread. I tended to be at the other end of the spectrum. But trust me, if you are the kind of person that wants to wipe down all the furniture with a solution of mild bleach before you begin, a kinky person's not going to mind. If anything, they're going to thank you for thinking ahead. So looking at the kind of kinks I was drawn to, they were always at the clean end of the spectrum. Point 5. It doesn't matter how clueless you are about kink, it's kind of expected that everybody is when they get in the community. So that's why they have workshops that you can go to as an adult and you can learn things like the 5 stages of a BDSM scene, which for me would be negotiation, the warm-up, the escalation, immediate aftercare and checking in at some later date. It's so brilliant, it's like somebody opened up my head and peeked in to work out what it was that I needed. Thanks for that. 6. I've worked out I like intense sensations on my body because it seems to switch my brain off and drop my thoughts into my body. Now, bear in mind, this has to be something that I've asked for. If it's something I haven't asked for, like a dripping tap in the next room, it will absolutely drive me nuts. But looking at all the kind of kink I liked, it tended to be things that gave me an intense sensation on my body that would switch my brain off. And chatting to other autistic people, it seems that quite a few of them like that experience as well. It's why so many of us like sleeping underneath a weighted blanket. So I look back at all the kinks that I did all those years, and now I just think, was I just looking for a weighted blanket? So if you meet an autistic person who's a little bit kinky, feel free to ask them why. Trust me, they'll be very happy to tell you. You might be there a while. Chances are their reasons will be different to mine because every autistic person is different. And if you'd like to chat any of this through with somebody who gets you, feel free to send me a private message or visit my website www.johnpendle.com. And I hope you have a very good day. Cheers.